life-giving rains and cooling breezes, for the changing seasons, for the cycle of growth and decay, of life and death. We awake and behold a new day. O God, renew us into life. Teach us to recognize your presence in creation, grateful for your gifts. May we dedicate all our powers to your service. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, for eyes to see. Praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, for the joy of freedom. Praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, for providing for all our needs.
Praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe,
we praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, for the blessing of sleep and the privilege of waking to a new day. Now, before we go any further, it is very warm and stuffy up here. Does anybody feel they need some water? Water? Water?
Okay, I'll have it.
We can have all these lovely blessings, but if you need some water, the blessings don't do you much good. Right, there's plenty more up here. Thank you, Adrian.
Should have done it earlier.
I've done it. Stephen, we took a water break. Right, so let's continue at the top of 119. Baruch she'amar b'haya ha'olam baruch hu, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, u'mehalal b'fi amo, meshubach nefar b'lshon chasidat v'abadat, b'shvachot v'zmirot, megadel chavanam nichcha malkeinu, v'achid chei ha'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai melech u'mehalal b'tishvachot. With the coming of day and night I will enter the covenant of God, and when evening and morning depart, I will recite God's decrees. God Most High, you are my righteousness. You teach me goodness. You are the fountain of knowledge, the dwelling place of holiness, and the summit of glory. Eternal might and majesty are yours. I will choose whatever you teach me, gladly accepting your judgments. As soon as I move my hands and feet, I will praise your name. When I go out and when I come in, when I lie down and when I rise up. When I rest on my bed, I will sing your praise, and in the company of my friends, I will praise you with the words of my mouth. Yishtabach Shimcha La'ad Malkeinu, Ha'el HaMelech HaKadol HaKadosh V'Shamayim U'Ba'aretz, Ki Lecha Na'eh Adonai Eloheinu V'Elohei Avotenu, Asher U'Shvachnu, Halel V'Zimra, Drachot V'Hoda'ot, Me'ata Ba'ad Olam,
Baruch atah Adonai, Abocher b'shivrei zimra.
And let's continue on 135. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMvorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMvorach, Le'olam.
Let's be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvorei choshech, osei shalom uvorei atah. La'aretz v'la'darim aleha v'rachamim, u'tuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, v'la'haretz kinyanecha. Tiparach Adonai Eloheinu al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, v'al me'orei or she'asita, yifa'arucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha'malot. Great is your love for us, eternal God. And abundant your compassion. Our ancestors trusted in you and you taught them the laws of God. So be gracious to us and teach us. Incline our hearts to hear your words, to know and understand, to learn and teach, and with love to uphold the truths of your Torah. Enlighten us with your teaching. Make us faithful to your commandments and wholehearted in the love and awe of your name. For in love you summon us to serve you and proclaim your unity. We praise you, O God. In love you have called your people Israel to serve you. And please stand. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. B'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'leftecha b'derech u'v'shoftecha u'v'kumecha v'shartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha u'v'tatam al zizot beitecha. Let's be seated. Sound, established, and enduring are these words now and forever. True it is, eternal one, that you are sovereign God and Redeemer. As you were the God and Redeemer of our ancestors, you are our Maker, the rock of our salvation. We have known you always as our helper and liberator. There is no God but you. Truly you are first, and you are last. We have no Redeemer but you. You redeemed us from Egypt and freed us from the house of bondage. Then with great joy Moses, Miriam, and all Israel together sang to you this song. שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים לשמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו. I'd like to say, for those who aren't feeling 101%, permission granted if you wish to remain seated. But those who are feeling a little better, please stand. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imamot, V'Nevi Geulah Livnei V'Nechem, V'Lan Shlom V'Yahavah, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, v'chaim eitim atah Rav v'Moshiach, Mashiv ha'ruach u'morid ha'geshem, Mazriach ha'shemesh u'morid ha'tam, Nechalkel chayim v'chesed, v'chaim eitim v'rachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofech olim, u'matir asurim, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך מנית ומחיי, מצמיח ישועה. למען אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. We sanctify your name on earth. As in the prophet's vision, the hosts of heaven sing your praise above, for so it is written. We will make known your greatness. To the end of time we will proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O our God, shall never depart from our lips. We praise you, eternal one, Lord. Please be seated. Competition. You inspired our ancestors to hallow this day through your service. When upon its coming we pause to contemplate our life, we learn anew that we do not live by bread alone, but also by the spiritual nourishment we receive when we open ourselves to your influence. We thank you for the Sabbath day and for the opportunity it offers to enhance the quality of our lives. We thank you for its joy and for its peace. In our worship, help us to take into our hearts its message of holiness, Consecrate all our days by devotion, what is true, beautiful, and good, and peace and quiet. On this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments, and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal one, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel, who hallow your name, be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of yourself. Let's say Adonai Eloheinu v'amacha Yisrael utfilatam b'hava tekabel util ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael anecha Baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadecha b'yirah v'avod modim anachnu lach sha'atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu le'olam va'ed tzur chayeinu magen mishenu atahu ledor hador Nodela Chal Saperti Latecha, Al Chayenu Hamizurim Biadecha, Vel Nishmotenu Hapukudot Lach, Vial Nisecha Shebachol Yomi Manu, Al Niflotecha Betovotecha, Shebachol Eid Vaboker Betsoharayim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Atov Shimcha U'Tachana El Rodot. Grant peace, welfare, blessing, grace, love, and mercy to us, and to all Israel. As a loving parent, bless us with the light of your presence. For by the light of your presence, eternal God, you reveal to us the law of life, love of kindness and righteousness, blessing, mercy, life, and peace. For it is good in your sight that your people Israel and all peoples be blessed at all times with your gift of peace. We praise you, O God, the source of peace. let's turn over to page 481 for our Torah. There is none like you, Eternal One, among the gods people worship, and there are no deeds like yours. Your sovereignty is everlasting. Your reign endures from age to age. Eternal One, you reign, you have reigned, you will reign forever. Eternal God, give strength to your people. Eternal God, bless your people with peace. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Eternal One is our God, the Eternal God is one. God, let us magnify the Eternal One. Together, let us exalt God's name. Do we have any May birthdays? Stephen! Wow. Well, let's say that between the two of you, there's some hearty experience. So, both of you, Ursula, Stephen, wishing you, hope you had a happy birthday. Not yet? Tuesday.
Very,
Sorry?
very happy.
Good.
Including a balloon.
A balloon. Excellent. Maybe Stephen will get a balloon too. So, wow. And many more good years to come. Absolutely. So, Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. Sa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God look kindly upon you and be gracious to you. May God reach out to both of you in tenderness and give you both peace and health and all the good things. Mazel tov. Okay, Maestro. Please be seated, everybody. Well, we've just about made it through Leviticus. It's the last week of the book of Leviticus, and next week we start the book of Numbers. say goodbye to the world of sacrifice, and we enter the world of political turmoil to the extreme. How timely. So I shall be reading Leviticus chapter 26, verses 3 to 13, in the JPS 198, and the Soncino treble 777. And this paragraph, shall we say, that I'm going to read is the good stuff. Prosperity, security, safety, all those nice things that we crave. And yet we know such security really exists on a knife's edge. And the bit I'm not going to read, but you might want to follow while I'm reading the nice bits, is the bit that's not so nice. So what happens when we don't keep to God's commandments? Now, I don't want to advocate this idea that there's cause and effect, that if you do A, then B is going to happen, and if you do X, then Y is going to happen. We don't live in this world of sort of cause and effect. I suppose some folks do, perhaps if they read all tabloids every day. But things are obviously much more complex and much more subtle than that. But sometimes even the most rational of us wonder, maybe there is a kind of relationship between receiving something for what you put out there. No guarantees one way or another, for better or worse, but sometimes there's a little more to it. So we live with that uncertainty, we live with that tension, and what do we do with it? And those who, as it were, follow the metaphor of following God's commands, engage in the never-ending, difficult, ethical struggle, moment by moment, every microsecond of every day. And different faiths have different terms for this ethical struggle. We call it, in traditional terms, the struggle between the Yetzer HaTov and the Yetzer HaRa. Good inclination, bless you, and evil inclination. In Islam, that is the meaning of the internal jihad, those micro, nanosecond, constant ethical struggles. In Christianity, my naive understanding, and I maybe should be corrected, John, but this is the struggle to deal with, to cope, to manage one's desires. It's the problem of desire. And Freud would have another word for it. So in secular and in religious terms, this task has been well identified, and we each, for better or worse, go about it in our own way. But the point is that life in that sense must be a struggle. And there can be no such thing as going with the flow or playing it by ear in terms of one's conduct. So I'll save the rest of that for later. Right.
Baruch et Adonai HaMavarach.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'havanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notei Torah.
So if you follow my laws and faithfully observe my commandments, I will grant you rains in their season, so that the earth shall yield its produce and the trees of the field their fruit. Your threshing shall overtake the vintage, and your vintage shall overtake the sowing. You shall eat your fill of bread and dwell securely in your land. I will grant peace in the land, and you shall lie down untroubled by anyone. I will give the land respite from vicious beasts, and no sword shall cross your land. You shall give chase to your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. 5 of you shall give chase to 100, and 100 of you shall give chase to 10,000. Your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. I will look with favor upon you and make you fertile and multiply you, and I will maintain my covenant with you. You shall eat old grain long stored, and you shall have to clear out the old to make room for the new. I will establish my abode in your midst. I will not spurn you. I will be ever present in your midst. I will be your God, and you shall be my people. I, the Lord, am your God, who brought you out from the land of the Egyptians to be their slaves no more, who broke the bars of your yoke and made you walk erect. And I want to dedicate this reading to two individuals. One is Theo Hazer, who some of you may know from Northwood. This was his bar mitzvah sidra. He had an adult bar mitzvah. He grew up as a child in Nazi Germany, was a member of Hitler Youth, and later on converted to liberal Judaism. And to the second person, Alexandra Zemft, who joined us at our conference about Albert Friedlander on Wednesday. Alexandra's grandfather was a war criminal and rightly executed. And Alexandra spent her life trying to work out her family and to expose what her grandfather did, and has paid a huge price, and she's a peacemaker. Im bechukotai telechu, et mitzvotai tishmeru, v'sitem otam, v'natati gishnechem v'itam, v'natna ha'aretz yevula, v'etz hasadeh yiten periyo, v'hisig lachem daish, et batzir. Uvatzir yasi getzara, v'achaltem lachmechem lasovam, v'shavtem lavetach v'artzachem, v'natati shalom v'aretz, v'shichavtem v'ein machrid, v'hishbati chaya ra'a min ha'aretz, v'cherev lo ta'avor v'artzachem, v'ordaftem et oibechem, v'naflu lifnechem lecharev, V'radfu mikem chamisha mea umea mikem revava yirdofu. V'naflu oivechem lifnechem v'charev. Ufaniti aleichem v'hifreti etchem v'hirbeti etchem v'hakimoti et briti itchem. V'achaltem yashan noshan v'yashan mitnei chadash v'totziu v'natati mishkani b'tochachem v'lo tigal nafshi etchem. V'hitalachti b'tochachem. V'hayiti lachem Elohim. V'atem tihiyu li la'am. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim. V'hiyot lachem. Abadim. V'eshbor motot ulchem. V'olech itchem kumomiot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam v'neshet han lanu Torah emet v'yei olam notah b'tocheinu Baruch atah Adonai notein Torah.
Please stand. Please be seated, everybody. done this. You don't need that. Yeah, just hang that with it. This one after, in English or Hebrew, whatever.
Okay. Just before I read everything, the Haftarah is Amos 8:1-11. He's a prophet, and it's 1028 in the JPS Tanakh. Very please. We praise you, eternal one, our God, sovereign of the universe. You inspired faithful prophets and took pleasure in the words they spoke in truth. We praise you, O God, for the gift of the Torah, your service Moses, your people Israel, and the prophets of truth and righteousness. Yes. We praise you, eternal one. Yes, it's okay. We praise you.
It's 1028. Just say that.
1028. JPS A Tanakh.
Okay. And then just read it.
Yeah. Okay. This. Before I start, Amos was one of the strongest callers of social justice in the Bible, and his language is very natural, imagery from growing things natural things like volcanoes, etc. And he was continually requesting that the Israelites obey his warning on social justice. The portion I'm going to read was it is quite dark, but he gave them visions of what would happen if they didn't heed his warnings for social justice. So it's 1:8:1-11. This is what my Lord God showed me. There was a basket of figs. He said, "What do you see, Amos? A basket of figs?" I replied, and the Lord said to me, "The hour of doom has come for my people, Israel. I will not pardon them again, and the singing women of the palace shall howl on that day, declares my Lord God. So many corpses left lying everywhere. Hush! Listen to this, you who devour the needy and annihilate the poor of the land, saying, if only the new moon was over, so that we could sell grain, the Shabbat, so that we could offer wheat for sale, using an epile that was too small, and a shekel that is too big, tilting a dishonest scale, selling grain refused as grain. We will buy the poor for silver, the needy for a pair of sandals. The Lord swears by the pride of Jacob, I will never forget the earth shake for this, and all that dwell on it mourn? Shall it not all rise like the Nile, and surge and subside like the Nile of Egypt? And in that day I shall make the sun set at noon. I shall darken the earth on a sunny day. I shall turn your festivals into mourning, and all your songs into dirges. I will put sackcloth on all loins, and tonsures on every head. I will make it mourn as for the only child, all of it as on a bitter day. A time is coming, declares the Lord my God, when I will send a famine upon the land, not hunger for bread or thirst for water, but for hearing the words of the Lord. We praise you, Eternal One, our God and Sovereign of the universe. You have been our source of strength and righteousness throughout the ages. The faithful God, whose word is deed and whose word is true and just. For the Torah and for the privilege of worship, for the prophets and for this Sabbath, which you, eternal God, has given us, the holiness and rest, for honour and beauty. For all these we offer thanks. May all the living come to praise your name forever. We praise you, God, for the holiness of the Sabbath.
So we're on page 484, and please stand. And do we have a very loud reader for the first paragraph? Someone who can belt it out for the royal family? Stephen, go for it.
Eternal God, whose dominion embraces the universe, we ask your blessing for our Sovereign Lady, Queen Elizabeth, and all the royal family, for those who govern our country and all who influence the quality of its national life. Make them conscious of their responsibility and teach them to exercise it in accordance with your will. May we all help to fashion in this country a society that excels in freedom and justice, tolerance and compassion, so that it may be a force for righteousness and peace in the life of humanity.
Okay, and a second quite loud reader for the welfare of the community. Jeremy, baritone, number 2.
As eternal God has blessed our ancestors in generations past, bless now this congregation, leaders and its members, and all that enter this synagogue to meet, to study, and to pray. Comfort the surrounding hearts amongst us, and heal those in anxiety or pain. May we all find here community and friendship, renewal of purpose and hope, a deeper understanding of our heritage, a sense of your abiding presence. Bless all congregation of the House of Israel throughout the world, that those who live under oppressive rule will soon be freed. May we all unite to witness to your truth and do your will.
And are there any members of our community that anyone wishes to mention, especially this week? We hope that Mike Solomon continues to hold his own. And would anyone like to mention another member or a friend?
My cousin Nikki has a now.
Yes, our cousins, yes. And do we have a third reader, perhaps a female who can really belt it out? Go for it, Maureen.
Eternal God, our rock and redeemer, grant blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream to be a haven for the oppressed. Inspire its leaders and citizens with faithfulness to the aims of its founders, to develop the land for the benefit of all its inhabitants, and to implement the prophetic ideals of liberty and justice. May they live in harmony with one another and in peace with their neighbours, and cause to come true once more the ancient vision that out of Zion shall go forth Torah, and the word of God from Jerusalem.
Hallelujah, et Shem Adonai, King God, Shemo Levado. Let us praise the Eternal One, whose name alone is exalted. God's teaching is perfect. God's word is unfailing. God's precepts are right. God's commandments are clear. God's doctrine is pure. God's guidance is true. Behold, a good doctrine has been given you. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. I'm not sure really quite what to do here because I'm already at the age where I can really only hear one thing at a time. And I'm tempted just to give you a very brief summary of what I was going to say rather than forcing you to listen while I bang on for 10 minutes with that going and that going. It just would be really tough on everybody. Flattery will get you everywhere. I think I'm going to be very brief because if I do so, it won't. But if I go on, then it will start. I think I'll be very brief. It is warm, it is stuffy, and you can be released for good behavior. So I wanted to focus just on that sort of tension the blessing and the curse and our conduct one way or another. And I wanted to say that one could argue that these days, one could say that one of the ways that people like to live, particularly whether materially or politically, is to sort of play it by ear without due regard for really any consequences. And whatever you might think about the Prime Minister who's just resigned, I don't think anybody could accuse her of playing by ear. Very deliberate, very cautious person. You might argue about intentions and motivations and all the rest of it, but this was a very careful, deliberate person. And the Torah presents it as a kind of precipice. That you have all this wonderful stuff, and life exists on a knife edge. All sorts of factors can come into play, some of which, through our own behavior, can send things on a downward spiral. And that can happen, let's say, economically, through group behavior, individual behavior, and politically, through both as well. And I think the danger, the real danger, is in what we read today, is people see that as normal, rather than with gratitude and a sense of humility. And there arises out of that a sense of entitlement. And, there's articles running around at the moment in the papers about, in certain quarters, the signals that people give off about how they're going to travel. And there's a one-upmanship. Whether you're flying a certain class on a plane, whether you're renting time on a private jet, or whether you own that private jet. And the ultimate, at the 18th hole or the 19th hole is, if you're going to fly back to New York from Miami or whatever, is, when you're trying to decide when you're going to go, the ultimate is, I'm going to play it by ear. And that's the signal given off that you have your very own jet, your very own pilot, and everything else, and you don't give a damn. And this kind of thinking, even if it's the so-called stereotypical 1%, this kind of thinking filters down in terms of our aims and ambitions and how we behave. And I think whether economically or politically, we do that at our peril. Recently I spoke at the Vatican conference concerning sustainable development goals, and the sense is very much that with respect to the planet and our behavior, 2020 to 2030 is basically do or die as far as life as we know it, as we're accustomed to it. And we could say, well, that's a bit of hysteria. But the risks are absolutely enormous. So that's basically a summary of what I wanted to say, and various people I wanted to quote and so on. We didn't get the noise, but at least you heard it. And the Torah, we can take it metaphorically, but it presents us as individuals, as in a community, with this dilemma of how we should behave, and that we live collectively and individually on a knife's edge. And so, pause for thought. And so let's turn over to page 520. Dovka, the noise has stopped. And please stand as you're able, willing. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, latek gdula v'yotzer breshit, asher sam chalkeinu li'ached et shemo, v'gorleinu l'hamlich malchutaru. Moshav Yekarov Hashemayim Ima'al, Ushchinatu Zovig Ovhei Meromim, Hu Eloheinu, Lord. Emet Malkeinu, Efesulato, Kakatu B'Toratayim, Yadata Hayom V'Hashem Vota Elivavecha, Ki Adonai Elohim Hashemayim Ima'al, Haaretz Mitachat. Trusting in you, eternal God, we hope soon to behold the glory of your might, when false gods will vanish from our hearts and idolatry cease forever. Help us to perfect the world by bringing under your unchallenged rule. When all will invoke your name, relinquish evil, and turn it to your own. May all who dwell on earth come to know that to you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you let them humble themselves, and to your glorious name let them give honor. Let all submit to your sovereign rule. May that time come soon and last forever. Our ultimate sovereignty is yours, and into all eternity you will reign in glory. As it is written, the Eternal One shall reign forever. Wrote, the growing good of the world is partly, perhaps greatly, dependent on unhistoric facts, and that things are not so ill with you and me as they might have been, is half owing to the number who live faithfully a hidden life and rest in unvisited tombs. Even when they are gone, the departed are with us. They inspire us to live as in their higher moments they themselves sought to live. We remember our loved ones now, for they remain in our hearts. They are a continual blessing. On this Shabbat, Uchukotai, we remember our loved ones. Sylvia Friedman, Sarah Hart, Sonia Leekman, Sheila Reback, Claire Shama, and we remember our dear husband, father, and father-in-law, Bob Lowe. And we wish you, Sylvia, Jeremy, and Judith strength and long life and lots of adventure. strangers and singing. And Barbara, we wish you strength and long life as you remember your wonderful husband, Harvey Liff, and your dear parents, Joe and Faye Bash. And would anyone like to mention the name of a friend or a loved one?
I'd like to remember Marion Marples and Gordon Lewis, both former church wardens at St Albans Home, where I sing on Sundays. They both recently died, and Marion's funeral is at Southwark Cathedral on Tuesday.
Where our organist John's funeral was held as
John,
well,
yes.
and whose stone you can actually visit there. So let us read Kaddish together. Yitkadal Yitkadash Shmei Rabbah Alma Divrach Hirotei Yamli Makutei L'chayechon V'yomechon L'chayei L'chol Beit Yisrael V'gadav Yisman Karei V'imru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam Amaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitrar V'yitramon V'yinasei V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei Kudashah B'reichu Le'elamim Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushmachata V'nechamata Damdan Barma V'imru Amen Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu B'yol Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen Oseh Shalom B'Rama Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu B'yol Kol Yisrael B'yol Kol B'nei Adam V'imru Amen. Please be seated, everybody. And we have Ain Kelohenu on 528. Shalom, everybody, and I just would urge us in the coming days and weeks to, let's say, be modest in terms of our material inclinations, and that those kinds of arguments used for and against various policies and so on, those aren't the real arguments. Real arguments are really about which course of action is going to lead to more justice, more mercy, more compassion, more kindness between people. And there ain't no easy answers. But which leader is going to bring people together or not, so that we can pursue those kinds of values? Again, no easy answers. But let us not simply rely on a particular leader or a policy. As individuals, we can make or break situations for others, whether people we know and love or whether strangers. So we have more power than we realize as individuals.
Can I just say something?
Please.
You know, it's so amazing that you mentioned things like that this week. Because on Thursday I was in Baker Street and there was a little girl with been foreign probably. She had a notice, I'm starving, please give me money. She was foreign, someone else had given it for her. I stopped to give her something, and a city type said to me, she's not starving, don't give her anything. I mean, how can you caress the world if you're going to get people like that who stop you, who are trying to influence you, not to help other people? And I just looked at him and I thought, I felt like calling something up, I would demean myself. But isn't that horrible? Even if she was trying to get money and she wasn't starving, what's her life that she's got to sit at Regent's Park Underground station begging for money? And how can you hope that people will get together? Believe me, I don't think it's possible. So when you've got people like that, it's not.
I've had the same thing, Maureen, happen to me on the train when I gave something to somebody. I was jumped on. It's not easy. It's not easy. Doing things that were asked and demanded of us. It's not easy. And I suppose my best response is, why does the Torah talk about this stuff over and over and over and over again? Because it's hard. And if it was so easy, it wouldn't need to be mentioned.
Even if he'd have given them £1, would it have changed his life? Why is he trying to influence people to do something wrong?
So my suggestion would be, on a personal and communal level, stay away from the poison, because you're not going to change it, and find your friends, find your soulmates, and together do the stuff that you regard as important. And maybe that's why we need communities and we need friends, because you support each other. So a poisonous person or a group can't throw you. Okay? So for every not nice Nick, Nick, or whatever you want to call it, not nice Nick, there are some really kind people floating around. So, go with the kind. Don't be discouraged. Shabbat Shalom. And we're really early, so if you want to wait. If you don't, I'll give you dispensation.
Just 3 quick announcements. Firstly, it's the Mosaic AGM on this Sunday, 4:30 downstairs. Secondly, probably more importantly, is that next Friday night is going to be Shabbat service is going to be at the home of Feagles. It's Gideon and Rodiva. If anybody wants to go, please either contact the office or Kevin for details, and obviously the numbers are limited. And thirdly, there is a correction. It's been advertised in the weekly bulletin that went out this week that next Friday is Sufa. It's not next Friday. It's, do you remember when that's on next Friday?
I can't remember.
No, but it's definitely not next Friday. So it's the Feagles Friday. It's got it the wrong way round.
But if you really want to be kind and you still want to go to Sufra, I'm not going to stop you. Okay, well, I did my bit. So you're leaving 5 minutes.
Great, brilliant, thank you. See you, Hannah. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. I've got 1 week this week, and another week, so I'll take 1 week in the middle. Dad was Judah, Joe. He had a brother, Joe. He did. He would give everything. I don't know where to take him. We went, did I tell you we went?
Sorry,
It would have been their 100th birthday because they were all very close to each other. So we went out for dinner and we had a toast from your dad. It was a while back. We're going out tonight and we'll toast.
get my hand out. We don't have a garden.
Right.
We're living in a flat.
That's family.
It's an even there, because we have
My middle grandson comes over to me just to see who we right now. I see Sarah.
Had various lunches the other day after my
Thank you.
class. Thank you so much.
Good evening.
Of course, you've got a very strong voice.
Oh, it's so distracting with that noise.
And I was beginning.
Not to worry, you read it. Mazel tov, and it's your first time. So Shehecham, last month, you did it. See, that's another thing that you haven't done in your life before you could add to your list.
Thank you.
And now that you've done it once, it would be absolutely great.
Maureen, thank you on what you said. You always, because you're so honest, you always get me something to work with. The struggle we have is to acknowledge that, to be angry, but not to give up because of it. The same thing happened to me on the train. I wanted to punch the guy's
Yes, two served guys, and one served is empty. Two served. Right, but isn't it what you were saying? You know, same as when you left I get to but they put everything in the legs. Well, you summarise this report. Thank you very much. Monday I'll be back again. Right, I'll probably go on Wednesday or something.
Also, I had a weird experience the other day. I found 2 10-pound notes on the ground. And I thought, so I'm going to redistribute them out. And this woman came up to me just while I was sitting in the coffee. Looked like she's having a really rough time. I gave her one. She practically wet herself. She was looking for a place to stay for the night. And then a man came up who was quite injured, looked like he was having a terrible time. I give him a 10-pound note, and he practically wet himself as well. So, you know. But see, it shows how sick that person was, because he feels, at some level, he feels guilt for his sense of entitlement for his millions. And you are a threat to him. That's why he lashed out. That's why he lashed out, because your goodness threatened him. Otherwise, if he didn't care, he wouldn't have done anything. So,
He wouldn't have changed his life.
but it shows how insecure he is.
They wouldn't take any money. No. That £10 would be free water when you come to it.
I can understand, don't feed the pigeon.
It's and by the grace of God, we actually have roofs over our heads.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point, you know, and we know where our next meal is. Half the people on the planet don't.
Unless you want to take
We're the lucky ones. And so it's interesting, as I've gotten older, I'm just more generous.
It was hard in a way, but I thought to myself, actually, one day you're in her position and you suddenly realise,
Well, you might not be.
Yeah,
No, you can feel that. That's genuine anger.
Shall I come on to you?
And how is life treating you?
Very well, thank you, at the moment.
I always say mustn't complain because if I do lose this.
Oh, here, I'll take it.
Thank you.
Did you get my message about Wednesday? Coming Wednesday? From your list?
Thank you.
That you gave me, you've forgotten already.
So honestly,
No, it's okay.
I went my way.
Doesn't matter.
I'm not saying, I'm not setting up.
It's been such a crazy week.
I know, yeah, I was listening, Maria enjoyed
Okay,
it.
this is the 29th.
Today's the 20th?
No, next Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that's when you'd like me to come?
Well, you
Yeah.
gave me the list.
Yeah, okay. What time do you want me to come?
Well, I don't know, I think you put in the afternoon.
Okay. Do you want to
What?
say,
You can come and you can have some lunch if you wish.
say, should I come at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
I don't want to stay for 2 weeks.
No, I
think I'm
don't.
gonna leave.
No, I have to wait for the Cohens, you see.
No, I don't think that's, I just have to deal with
Yeah. No, Maria was telling me about the
you. Here you go.
lecture.
It's
I need to
wonderful. Oh, I'll take it.
and she said it was really lovely.
It was
It would
amazing.
have been something I would have enjoyed
You
listening
would have.
to.
I worked on that for a year.
Oh,
It was amazing. And
wonderful.
we had Lord Alderdice there the entire day.
Wow.
And he wasn't even playing on the song very well.